And now we'll begin our studies on apices, also known as an apex. They are a structural feature. It's the only pattern we kind of trade within the Wyckoffean VSA world. And obviously this is price, and it coils down like so. Price coils down as it tightens, as we can see in here, and then it should break out either way, up or down. The purpose of an apex is that it creates cores, the same as a trading range. Trading range, again, we build cores and we break out. And with an apex, again, we build cores. Hopefully we can read this price action in here, and we can position ourselves early on and predict the break by the price action. There is also something called a springboard, and this concept is extremely useful, and I'm very happy to share this work with you. So let's begin. So here we have an apex, and the first thing we analyze are the background conditions. Now, as always, if we add a little structure, all becomes apparent. To the naked eye, it's slightly difficult. So here we go. This is our apex here, the purple dots. From here, we've just broken through this resistance level within a mini trading range. So this is our large trading range here, like so. And this here would be our trading range within a trading range. And as we break, we revisit an area of supply, which is to the left, which is where we halted up here before coming down and forming our trading range, forming the lows, should I say, of our trading range. This leads us to the apex. Think logically about this behavior. The nature of an apex is to create cores. And why would we create cores here? Well, it's because there's supply to the left, the original price action that stalled, that broke down to give us our lows. And we are in an area of supply. So we need to grind through, we need to get rid of any supply, build enough cores within the apex to break on through into new highs. And an apex is an efficient way to build energy. It takes longer to build the cores within a trading range as it expels energy. If you think of a trading range like so, drive down, push up, drive down, push up, drive down, push up, etc., etc. All this takes effort. So there's a lot of wasted energy. Whereas a trading range, we churn up, we pump up and down, price tightens before we explode. Hence, they both do create cores. But the way in which they create cores is a lot better, or should I say, is a lot more aggressive via an apex. However, there's a lot more risks with trading an apex rather than a trading range, as it's not as obvious at times within an apex. As price tightens within the apex, what's happening? It's tightening. And as this coils down and builds up the pent energy, it's ready to explode. And the dominant force, in this case, the bulls, they are impatient. They're unwilling to give up ground and time, hence why a trading range doesn't form. Apices are the same in nature as a trading range, as they do both create cores. Of course, an apex, like here, doesn't always abide by these rules. But by using context, always ask yourself as to why would the market form an apex? Why would it build cores here? In this particular location here is to eradicate this supply to the left. But more often than not, one can gain an edge by simply applying that little logic. Ask yourself, why would an apex form here? Good. Let's analyze the apex itself. Well, we can see that we break through this area and we have good buying. We drive into these highs with good volume and 3 bars of good quality buying, closing firm. This bar, and this bar. As we can see, this is a good, strong move up with excellent volume. Good quality buying. And then A. What's A? Well, we get negativity. Yet, volume is low in comparison to the 3 up bars. We can see it's a lot less. Nothing to do here. We're just analysing the price action. B. What do we note at B? Well, another low volume down bar. In fact, it's the lowest since the apex has formed, with the narrowest spread and the lowest volume. This would hint at no supply. Here, as of now, if you think we push up to highs, we're coming down like this, and volume is declining, we would say that this is a weak pullback at this moment in time. We don't have any other information available. B's just printed. Then bar C, widespread closes weak, however it is off the lows. It indicates a little buying. We have good volume, so this is a down bar. This looks negative. Buys do break the highs of the previous bar, unable to sustain the buying. Sellers come in, they drive it down to the lows here at some point, but buys do step in. So we know there's a little buying in the bar there, and a buying in at the bar here. However, it is weak, and this is a daily time frame, bear in mind, and we are trading on the pound futures. Then from C to E, what do we note? Have shortening of the thrust in closes. This close here from C to this close to this close. Shortening of the thrust, with E being a mild case of bullish effort versus result. A slightly narrower spread with higher volume. So think about this. There's 2 positive traits about this price action. Shortening of the thrust in closes is bullish, as it signifies or indicates that sellers are unable to drive the market down. And then on E, we have bullish effort versus result over the previous bar D, or smaller spread with increasing volume. Then what happens? Wow, bar F, high volume, up bar, closes above the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this bar makes the highest closes above the previous 5, 6 days worth of trading, and it does so with a surge in volume. And importantly, there is no downside follow through from D. This is very strong buying after the previous strength. So this is a confirmation of demand. But don't forget, shortening of the thrust, bullish effort versus result, followed by good quality buying. This bar confirms demand. Okay, good. Then G. The last 6 pars is the most important aspect, or the most important part of this apex. We are in a textbook spring position. What is meant by this? Well, the lows rise, the spreads narrow with firm closes, just like the end of absorption, and the closes must occur in the middle of the apex, like we do here. Look at this. These 6 bars cluster, and where are we? Slap bang, right in the middle of the apex. I mean, 6 closes in succession is excessive and is not needed. Usually, I would say it's around 3 on average. But for this instrument, this is clear. This is a clear gift. I mean, one can buy. Once we can take in consideration all of the background conditions and the trading within this apex, when we print this bar with this little mini cluster here, we know we're holding. Because these 6 bars are like mini absorption in a way, because we dip down, look at the volume. We dip down, look at the volume, dip down, okay? So every time we dip down, reverse to close firm, there is less and less supply. This is not no demand due to the background conditions. Don't forget, within the trading, within this apex, is strength. We've seen good buying, confirmation of demand, shortening of a thrust, bullish effort versus result. Then this bar here looks very negative, yet what happens? We hold 6 days. That's over a week's worth of trading. We hold at exactly the same price, which is in the middle of the apex. As price tightens towards the end of an apex with this type of action here, like this, with the rising lows and the closes all in alignment, it is said that we are on the springboard, as in we are ready to take off. And this concept was originated by Bob Evans, who took over from the works of Wyckoff and produced some excellent audios. Shame we didn't do a book. I think that was in the 50s or 60s. And I cannot stress to you, it is uncanny how often this phenomenon occurs. It is uncanny, being on the springboard. And if we can read this price action beforehand and our background conditions, and then we print the springboard position, we can trade the apex early. Like, as I previously said, there's nothing wrong with buying this bar here. You've got this triple cluster here, excellent. Comes the fourth, must buy, must buy, must buy. We have to be buying in this springboard position within the apex. Okay. We get in at the danger point when we trade with the springboard. We just have to put our stop here and we enter here. Now, I must point out that apices are notoriously difficult to trade. However, from my experience, I cannot put a definitive number on it, but it's around 70-75% are readable, as in that we can initiate a position with confidence. Good. There is something else on this chart. H. From last week, what do we know this to be? It's a key reversal. It's a hidden spring. And what do we note? As we rally from the apex, volume increases. As we try to react, volume declines. It's less. So as we pull back, volume declines with a slight case of effort versus result. Look at this bar. These two bars, the spreads are the same, closes are the same, yet we have this pop in volume. Again, that is bullish effort versus results. And then bar H, we dip under all the price action to reverse and close firm back above this level of support. And this level of support would be drawn. Why? Well, think about this. This is a daily time frame. That's a high. We push up. Then this bar holds. This bar holds. This bar holds. So as we get to this bar, this level must be drawn in. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 touches, and we cannot close under this level for whatever reason. So this level must be drawn in, this level of support. We come down here, again, we test. Again, we dip under. We cannot close under. So as H dips under all this price action, reverses to close firm, this is an additional entry using the hidden spring or key reversal as our entry bar. And what does this bar H do? It's testing for supply to the left. I must say, from a personal perspective, I don't like the market to test apices, as supply should be absorbed. You know, there should be no selling pressure left in the market. But they do. Unfortunately, apices or apexes, they do seem to test, I mean, around 50% of the time, give or take. Bear that in mind, i.e., do not be spooked out via the testing action. When we can read this, and we have our springboard and we take a position, and say we get in here or here, and as we rally we can see volume increase and we get decent spreads. When we react and we note that volume decreases, do not be spooked out of your position. That indicates to us, price bar volume readers, that there is no selling pressure in the market, and we can read how price interacts at structure. Do not be spooked out of your position. Okay, some manipulators, they know exactly, you know, the psychology of how we, as retail traders or professional traders, they know how the common trader thinks, and they know how to manipulate and gain your contracts to spook you out of the market. And H, don't forget, at some point would look like this, and this would look like negative price action. Agreed? But we're coming back down here, we're just testing before markup. And we know that the test was successful as boom. This is our final test. And then bang, look at that move. Phenomenal. It was a successful test. And this should occur. This action should occur after a test. Like a spring with a no supply test. If there's no supply pressure in the market, we should take off. So as we rally up here, perhaps the market wasn't done with its testing. They just wanted to make sure. So this is why bar H prints. And then 100%, probably wrong foots, or there could be large stops under here, which is why they drive it down. Then bang, we take off. And that's a wonderful move. For 3 days of holding this contract, you get a lovely, lovely trade. Good. I see no questions. On to the next.